Kayla had sent you a text message telling you that she was going to lock you out of the house, and it sounded like going from the garage into the house is the door she's talking about. Do you remember that?
Correct.
And you had sent her 3 messages in about a 2-minute time span telling her to unlock the door, you would kick it in. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Telling her that on the text messages?
Yes.
And when Investigator Trantham interviewed you, you told him that you deleted those messages and you sent those to her. Do you remember that also?
Yes.
Do you remember, were those sent before you tried the garage, the door to get into the house, or were they after you'd already gotten the house when you sent those?
That was before, I think it was before I even entered the garage, to be honest with you.
Did you kick in that door from the garage into the house?
No, that door was unlocked.
When you got up there, then walk us through what happened when you got in after you'd already put your beer in the refrigerator.
So I put my beer in the fridge, and I walked up to the door, and I was still curious about the motorcycles, but I wasn't worried about it. I was concerned about Kayla because she'd never done anything like that, and I didn't know if maybe one of the kids had been messing around in the garage and gotten hurt or something. So I went inside, and I think I probably set my cigarettes on the counter or something. I don't really remember, but I remember I turned from the counter to go into the bedroom, and when I walked into the bedroom, the lights were off, and I seen my dog laying on the floor. She didn't look at me, she didn't move, but it was dark. And when I come around that door, I could see the light from the TV, and when I went to close the door, Kayla come at me with a knife, and I panicked and I put my hand up to try and grab her wrist or stop her, and I ended up having to hit her in the side of the head 3 times. And we struggled and went to the floor, and when I sat up, she wasn't moving, and her eyes were huge. And it's just like that feeling when you stand up too fast and you zone out, but I don't remember anything after that. And the next thing I remember after that is I was sitting on the floor holding my dog, and all I could hear was like a bubbling noise coming out of her, and she was just, I don't know if she was trying to breathe or what was going on. All I could do was hold her.
Cool. On one of the scars on your finger from that night, you still see the slice on there where it appears to have been cut?
Yes.
You and I have talked after going back through and looking at the pictures of your finger. Did you assume that that's what caused it that night?
Yes.
You told Investigator Trantham about how you punched the front left fender of your truck later that night over by Valparaiso somewhere in frustration. Did you actually do that also?
Yes.
And is that why your finger was swollen up in the middle finger?
Yes.
Well, when Kayla came at you with that knife, did you think before you reacted?
No, it startled me. I didn't expect to see it.
You've seen the pictures of Kayla after the fact. Do you know if you inflicted any of the stab wounds on Kayla when you're struggling with her after she tried to stab you with that knife?
It's possible. I don't know. I don't remember.
Do you assume you probably caused some of them during the struggle?
It's very likely, yes.
Other than you remembering her coming at you with the knife and you trying to block it and hitting her in the eye, and then being on top of her and going to Diesel to see how he was, do you remember anything else in the room that night with the struggle?
No. Even in the photos, I don't recognize the photos. I don't recognize the room the way the photos are. I don't recognize any of that.
Do you know if you caused Kayla's death that night?
I don't know.
Have you tried to remember the rest of what happened that night?
Every day I try.
Has it been painful for you trying to remember what happened?
Sometimes more than others, yeah.
When you defended yourself when Kayla came at you with a knife, were you planning or trying to kill her at that point?
No.
What were you, if you know, what were you doing?
I was just trying to not get stabbed. More so just trying to stop her. But everything happened so fast, it just, I don't know.
At some point, did you find out that you had the knife, that Kayla had that knife?
One of the times when I must have stopped, when I stopped to get my charger, I remember talking to Tammy when I hit my pickup. And I remember my phone dying. And this was roughly after Valparaiso, because I remember going over the railroad tracks. And I got out, and I felt something in my side pocket. So when I got out of the pickup, and my phone died, I reached down in my side pocket, and I don't remember looking at it. I just remember hearing it and feeling it move around in the box. And I didn't, until I'd seen pictures, I didn't realize what it was. But in my nightstand next to my bed, there was a knife that my dad had given me for Christmas. I was in a stocking. And there's a spot in the nightstand where that knife was, and it wasn't there in the pictures. And I remember throwing something out in the field, but I don't remember what it was. And when I seen that, it kind of clicked in my mind. It scared me. It thoroughly scared me because I knew exactly what it was at that point.
Let's talk about when you got into the house. You didn't see Kayla when you first went into the room, right?
Right.
You saw Diesel.
I seen her on the floor, yes.
Did you go over to her?
Right when I walked in the room, Diesel was laying on the floor, and when I come around the door, I didn't even have the door shut before Kayla came at me.
How was the bed at that time?
I don't know. I don't even remember. The first thing I seen when I came was Kayla coming at me.
How were the covers at that time?
I don't know.
So you testified that you had to hit Kayla
3 times.
3 times. Let me find it. 3 times in the, what side of the head did you say?
It would have been my right side, so her left.
Her left side. Where did you hit her in the head?
Just in the side of the head. I don't know exactly.
Well, you're not forgetting these things, right? You haven't blacked out or lost your memory yet, have you?
I don't really know.
So what part of her head did you hit?
I don't know. I swung in self-defense. I wasn't aiming to hit her in a specific area. I was just swinging to protect myself.
What side of her head?
And her left side, it would have been my right side.
May I approach the camera? Yes. So you hit her on her left side, which would be that would be her left eye, is that correct?
Right.
You saw the photographs yesterday of a pretty significant brain bleed on Kayla Matulka on the right side of her head. How did that happen?
I don't know. I'm not disputing that it wasn't there. I just don't know.
Well, she went to the ground. I think you said she went to the floor, correct?
We both went to the floor, and when we hit the floor, she stopped moving.
She stopped moving at that point in time.
Somewhere between when we hit the floor and when I said it, she was not moving.
So you knocked her out.
I don't know. I just know she wasn't moving.
When did you get the knife away from her?
I don't know. I don't know if I got it away from her. I just know that she stopped moving.
Well, it somehow magically ended up in your truck, so you must have got it away from her at some point in time, right?
Correct.
But you don't know when.
That's right. I don't know.
Where was she at on the floor in your room?
Well, obviously she was on the floor between the bed and the dressers. But I don't know if you're trying to say that it was a plain fall, but that's just where we ended up. That's just, I don't know.
She hit her head on the way down on anything?
I don't know. She could have. It's more than possible. But I'm just telling her I don't know.
How was she clothed?
She had her pajamas on. That I don't know, normal, I guess. I don't know. I wasn't paying attention to how she was clothed. She was coming at me.
Describe the knife.
The knife that I had that was in my nightstand, that I believe it was, it's double-edged. It's black. It's got a blade probably a long and a handle.
It's got what on the handle?
It's just got a handle probably about the same length as the blade. It
What?
folds in.
What color's the handle?
Black.
And what's the length of the blade?
Probably 4 or 5 inches.
And you testified it's a double edge. What does that mean?
It's just a blade on both sides.
So it's sharp on both sides of it?
Correct.
Is it a straight or is it serrated?
It's straight.
And you testified that you found that knife when again?
When my phone died, when I was on the phone with Tina, and I'd gotten out of my pickup, I felt something in the side pocket of my shorts. And I don't recall looking at it, but I remember grabbing it out of my pocket, and I don't know if I realized what it was or what, but I threw it. And when I seen the picture of my nightstand being open and I seen that it wasn't in there, I had a pretty good feeling that that's what it was.
Where'd you throw it again?
It was after I went through Valparaiso. It was when I stopped when my phone died.
And why did you get out of your truck?
I was trying to find a phone charger in the toolbox of my pickup.
Is that where you typically keep your phone chargers? Is it in your toolbox?
I normally have one in my pickup, but I didn't have one in there. It's the one that I normally use. I had it. It was in the house because I hadn't been in my pickup like I normally am. So
Did you find a charger in your toolbox?
I had one in there.
So you didn't go back home to Malmo that last time to go get your phone charger?
I don't know that I went to get a phone charger, but based on the video, I went back there.
You went back and you were in the house for, what, about 9 minutes?
Something like that, yeah.
You don't know what you're doing.
I do not.
You don't know why you went back there.
No, I don't.
Did you ever try to have anybody go out and try and find that knife that Kayla wielded that night, according to you?
I don't know if we have or not.
Well, you would know if you sent somebody out there to try to find it. Did you ever try and describe to anybody where you threw that knife so they could go out and try and find that knife?
I haven't.
You understand, sir, that that knife could lead to evidence that would exonerate you from this crime if Kayla's fingerprints were on that knife, right?
It could, yeah.
Yeah. But you haven't tried any efforts to go find that knife.
I myself personally know I have not made any efforts to have someone go find it, but I haven't made any efforts to have somebody not go find it either, though.
Well, how do you make somebody not do something?
I didn't make a decision to have somebody go find it.
So after you punched her 3 times on the left side of her face, you don't remember her moving again after she fell to the ground. Isn't that true?
We both went to the ground together.
My question was, you don't remember her moving again after she fell to the ground?
I don't.
You don't.
But I don't remember after seeing that, I just don't remember a lot after it. I remember very small bits and pieces.
So it's possible that when you punched her in the face 3 times, you knocked her out cold. Isn't that true?
It could have very well been, I don't know.
And then you wouldn't have needed to stab her 25 times in order to get her to stop attacking you. Isn't that true?
Could be, yeah.
And you wouldn't have needed to strangle her.
I don't remember doing that, but I'm not saying I didn't do it, I just don't remember it.
So all you needed to do to defend yourself, according to your testimony, is punch her in the face 3 times. That might have taken care of the problem. Isn't that true?
All I'm saying is that's what I remember.
It's a yes or
doing.
no. Isn't that true? That's a possibility.
Your Honor, if you can't answer with a yes or no, you should be able to answer it with a full explanation.
You can answer it with an explanation.
I don't know, I don't remember doing those things, so I can't tell you that that's all I needed to do, because I don't know.
Are you saying it's not a possibility?
I'm not saying it's not a possibility,
you.
I'm just saying I don't know.
Thank you.